Okay, I'm going to target this video more towards women again, and I think I'm going to do that because I really see a schism between how women understand developing a fitter aesthetic and physique and how men understand it. There's even kind of a schism in women's understanding of how that physique might transfer over to strength and performance and how men understand that dynamic. So I titled this something regarding, I actually haven't come up with a title yet, but it's going to be something regarding being greedy about muscle gain. And I don't actually, when I use that title, I don't actually mean don't try to gain too much muscle, or don't try to just or trying to gain too much muscle is too much. I actually mean that in terms of wanting it all at the same time. So what do I mean by that? When I talk about wanting it all in context of building muscle, toning up, I hate that term. A lot of us who are in the strength game hate that term. In the fitness world, they like to use it, especially when women are involved, because where women are involved, because it's kind of a gentle word. And so so when women kind of look to working on their bodies, whatever that means for them, a lot of times the way that they want it all is that they want to have the kinds of physiques that carry actually a significant amount of muscle mass, but they don't want to gain the fat. Now, the problem with that is that is impossible unless you're on some kind of drug. And if you are, that's another ballpark. I'm not playing that game. If you want to go off and, that's generally going to be a steroid kind of situation. So that's not something I'm going to speak to here because I don't know anything about it. I really don't. So what I do know is that I think women will see different bodies with different amounts of muscle mass, and they'll want that. Or they'll be like, wow, if I start lifting weights, that's what's going to happen to me. Guess what? That is something that comes over a long period of time, and I've said that before. Not only does it come over a long period of time, but it's going to take phases. And you hear the word bulking, and I've used it. I'm bulking, I guess. Yes, okay, I'm bulking. Maybe not so much in like a bodybuilding kind of way, but I guess through my own powerlifting lens, I'm kind of doing a bulk here. So what you have to understand is that bulking is something that is necessary to build the tone that you're seeing in those pictures of really dry looking, when I say dry, I mean very lean, like their body's almost sucked of all water, that you can see so much definition. What it took to get there was building the muscle mass, and that is not going to happen unless you kind of build, I guess you could think of it as a little chrysalis of fat that comes along with that. It's kind of like cushioning your body. Having more fat as you're trying to build muscle, in a way, kind of cushions your body and gives it a really great space in order to generate that muscle. That's not exactly scientifically what happens, but it's kind of a way that I think about it sometimes. You're adding on a lot to your body. You're putting your body into a situation in which it's like it's in this garden of surplus, okay? And it's happy, and the fat that it gains is kind of its way of responding to this garden of surplus. So I guess what really can be a problem there, and the reason that women don't understand this is because it is not easy to sell it, and I mean that very literally. This is not something women want to put money in, like, oh, I have to get fatter so then I can somehow at some point have this amount of muscle that I see in the picture. Now, let me backtrack for a second and say that this is not the case for every single body. Some women are coming into strength training and maybe they actually are relatively overweight, and they're going to start strength training. Frankly, in some respects, those women are somewhat lucky. I know that sounds, I hope that doesn't sound bad. I don't mean it in a bad way at all. I just mean that it can be psychologically kind of difficult if you're not very big in any way, whatever your body composition. It can be difficult, you know, living with the pressures regarding body size you've internalized to decide, okay, I'm going to get bigger and it's going to be fat, some of it. If you're already kind of overweight and you're getting into strength training, be excited. You have kind of this base that you can work with. You know that your body's going to be bettered in a lot of different ways, and you kind of don't have to deal with this strange little niche kind of situation that is those women who are smaller, who are looking to like change their body shape and don't really realize that to significantly do so, I mean not just little tiny changes, but to significantly put on mass in, say, shoulders or your glutes or your back, you are going to have to get fatter. So when I say don't be greedy about muscle gain, you know, frankly, I mean, I wouldn't even almost call it greed, but I definitely would say that it can be scary, the kinds of delusional thinking that I hear from people on this topic, that they're like, well, I'm not going to put on any fat, I'm going to like get really big and jacked, I'm not going to get fat. And it's like, dude, how do you think you're going to do that? Now, some people, to my knowledge, I honestly don't know anybody who does this, but they have a market, there's a market for it, so it must be something people buy. Fat burners and different pills that probably, I don't look at these very often, but like thermogenics and other different types of pills you might find at GNC that claim to help you build muscle and burn fat at the same time, which is a frigging paradox, okay? That is oxymoronic. You can't do that. Not very well. There's like specialized situations, particularly if you're a newbie kind of lifter, that could be argued as it's possible. But otherwise it's just kind of ridiculous. Don't take those pills, okay? Whatever you do, do not go to a freaking GNC or on some online supplement kind of shop and buy those, please. If you take anything away from this video, those are at best worthless, at worst they're dangerous. And also relatively at worst, they can mess up your metabolism. I mean, even more, like, bad. Often they just have a lot of, you know, the really harmless ones just have like a lot of caffeine. They make you all hyper, so then you're gonna go kill a workout. I don't know, like, I guess that'll burn more calories and then you'll get skinny. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. If you eat enough, you're not gonna counter the few calories that you kind of add on jumping around during, you know, between sets in your workout. So don't buy those. Otherwise, you have to realize that if you're going to radically change your body shape, or even kind of relatively moderately, you really might have to go through stages. And once again, you can maybe think about this like a chrysalis, or like the development of a butterfly. Ugh, I can't believe I'm using that analogy. It is so gross. It's very cliche. But it is really what has to happen to your body. And I feel like men kind of develop an understanding of this when they research lifting and go for, you know, like trying to bulk up. Like, there's a different culture around like male size and power and what it means to be larger than it is for women. So they kind of get this information and women don't. But if you're trying to do the thing that men do, which is lift heavy, then your body is going to need certain things that are similar or the same, and it's going to respond the same. Now, unfortunately, our bodies like to put on more fat. Sorry, when I say we, I mean women in this context. We are programmed more so than men to, when we have a surplus, our body's like, ooh, let's, we like the fat, that's going to be good for reproduction. It doesn't really like, why would we need muscle? Now, if you're lifting, your body's like, crap, I have to adapt to this. So as long as you're lifting, okay, you're eating more, as long as you're lifting consistently and kicking your ass at it, that doesn't mean giving yourself rhabdo, okay, but it does mean working reasonably hard, and reasonably is a key word there. You will probably avoid just becoming a big blob. But really, let's just kind of backtrack and say that you are going to have to deal with your body changing in a softer way. I follow this woman on Instagram. I think it's Morgan Hayward. I don't know what her Instagram name. I can go look it up and maybe I'll put it in a link. I think she's a figure competitor, like maybe bikini. I don't think she's bikini. I'm gonna guess she's figure physique. And in the off season, which I think she's kind of in right now, she's very soft. I don't mean that in like you know, and once again, kind of like a mean way, or honestly, she looks beautiful in the off season. She looks amazing. Like, I wouldn't want her to be smaller. I think she looks amazing, but she is, regardless of what I think of how her body looks, it doesn't really matter. She is demonstrating what it takes to, especially if you're a physique competitor or something, you know, in that field, like that type of competition. She's demonstrating, well, this is what her body has to do part of the time that she's kind of working through her stages of getting, you know, competition ready. So I feel like she's a really good, there's other women who, if you follow them, you know, stalk them pretty much. Yeah, I guess I stalk her because I watch her on Instagram. If you follow them and you know that they're physique competitors, you realize if you stick with them long enough, like, wow, like they're not very small, they don't look very defined for most of the year. And then they shrink themselves down like crazy for their competition. I'm like not even going to get into that. There's a lot about that I really don't like. And this is not sour grapes. Yay for them. They, you know, all that stuff is like amazing, but like, to be honest, some of the dieting stuff and some of the mentalities towards it freak me out. But like I said, that is another topic for another day. So I think I'm going to wrap this up. I've written blog entries about this before. If you don't read my blog, I'm going to also put a link to that in the about section of this video. And I guess just thanks for watching. I will put up another one at some point.